So, Hare Krishna, dear devotees, welcome for today's continuous discussion on Bhagavad Gita, Gita Gyan program, ongoing program, 18 days program. So, today is we're going to discuss on the 4th chapter, Bhagavad Gita. So, I hope that you all have got a Gita with you, handy, and I hope that after we discuss this, you are also going back and referring back, and after you get the summary, so you get some picture so that you could go and get a thorough understanding in Bhagavad Gita, right? So I'm grateful to each and every one of you for joining us today. Thank you so much for joining. And let's start our program. Oh, I didn't even open the slide. Okay. Okay, from beginning. Okay, ISKCON Ipoh and ISKCON Malaysia proudly presents Gita Gyan, the essence of Bhagavad Gita, chapter 4. So before we start, let's take our darshan from this Ugra Narsinga deity all the way from Mayapur. Right? This is one of the deity that it is not available anywhere in the world. It's only one place in Mayapur, India, Nadia. Right? This is called Ugra Narasimha. Ugra means the most ferocious Narasimha. Narasimha got 11 types, right? 11 types. Lakshmi Narasimha, Yoga Narasimha, all these kind. But the most powerful and most ferocious, okay, it's called Ugra Narasimha. So it was installed in Mayapur after that we are, experiencing a lot of attacks from Bangladesh, because Mayapur is very near to Bangladesh, and a lot of envious people, they always see that ISKCON movement is spreading all over the world. It's like becoming like a big challenge. And ever since this deity was installed, one of its kind in the world, it's a beautiful story behind it. Maybe I'll share the pastime, maybe the group, maybe you can read. Very nice, right? So let's take darshan from this. Ugram Vera Mahavishnam Jwalantam Sarvato Mukam Narashimam Bishanam Badram Mrityum Namamiham. Narsingadev Bhagavan Ki Jai. Right, so let's do our invocation today. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Unmilitam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya. Okay. Chakshur Unmilitam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimadi Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvashesha Shunyavadi Pashati Deshatarine. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Shivashadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Come everyone, let's chant together 3 times the Maha Mantra. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Hare. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Okay. So today we dedicate today's chapter 4 to His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhakti Vedanta Swami Prabhupada, Founder Acharya of the International Society for Krishna Consciousness. And this program is also inspired by His Holiness Jayapataka Swami Guru Maharaj. And I dedicate this program to late His Grace Anadi Jagannath Prabhu from Bangalore, ISKCON Sheshadipuram. He is the creator and the brainchild of the essence of Gita program, Gita Gyan program worldwide. Okay, now let's look at today's understanding. Okay, today's understanding. Okay, what color should I use? I use, all right. Okay, now, so, this is all under the introduction. After hearing Bhagavad Gita from the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Arjuna accepted Krishna as Parabrahman, or the Supreme Brahman. Every living being is Brahman. That means every living being is called Brahman, but the supreme living being is called the Supreme Brahman. All right, personally Godhead, or the Supreme Brahman, or in other words, we also call it as Para Brahman. All right, and he has a place. So God has form. Krishna has form. That means the person, like for instance, they say, God is formless. God is nothing. No, he has a form. He's Para Brahman. At the same time, he has a Param Dham. Dhamma means place. Means he has the supreme resting abode. All right. Pavitram. Pavitram means what? Sometimes when you do yagam, they put a kind of a leaf or like kind of grass. Darpa the darba grass, they put it on your thing. Why? It's called pavitram. Anything that you touch and you put in the fire, it becomes purified. All right, it's pure, it's pavitram. Like this thing I'm wearing here, okay, it's called pavitram. Okay, to create auspiciousness. All right. So this is pavitra means pure. That means he's pure, untainted by material contamination. All right, he's not affected by material contamination. Purusha means that he is a supreme enjoyer. All right. So that means we call our husband as Purusha. All right, in Tamil. Purushan. What is Purushan means? Enjoyer. All right, of course lah. Now everything Purushan means enjoyer. All right. So Krishna is known as Adi Purusha. Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. All right. Then he is also known as Shashvatam. That means he's original. Divyam. That means transcendental. Adi Devam. That means the supreme personality. All right. Ajam, unborn, and Vibhum, the greatest. All right. So this is the introduction from this what they call introduction of this Bhagavad Gita on this chapter. All right. All right. Now let's look at this. Now let's look at today's Gita Mahatmya, or the glories of Bhagavad Gita. Okay, by Adi Shankara. Let's look at this. Gita Sugita Kartavya Kim Anye Shashta Vishtarehi Sya Swayam Padmanabhasya Mukha Padmat Vinishrita. Gita Sugita Kartavya Kim Anye Shastra Vistare Ya Swayam Padmanabhasya Mukha Padmat Vinishrita. So what does that mean? Because Bhagavad Gita was spoken by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, all right? One need not read any other Vedic literature, all right? So this is going to be a very interesting topic today, but however, please mute yourself, huh? Right. So, because Bhagavad Gita was spoken by the Supreme Personality, one do not need to read any other scripture. Actually, okay, one only attentively, not simply, attentively and regularly, not once a week, not whenever you feel like it, regularly hear and read Bhagavad Gita. Okay, and he says, in the present age, that means in Kali Yuga, people are so absorbed in mundane activities. People are so absorbed in what? All the useless activities. Okay, you see, people have no time. What is mundane activity means? The activity that doesn't bring self-realization. The activity that's not going to help you spiritually, right? Like sometimes you say, okay, I don't want to go into the detail, all the mundane activities, all right? That, okay, in mundane activities, that is not possible. That means, again, it is not possible for him to read all Vedic literature. He has no time, okay, to study all Vedic literature. Like recently, there's one, okay, there's a person, my former teacher, he should be 80 plus. And he's always looking forward to play golf. He's so addicted to golf, all right? So, and there's one person came and asked me, because I'm also doing financial advisory and training people, especially in Forex, technical analysis. They came and said, can you teach me Forex? I say, how old are you? 75. I say, enough. You do not need to know now. Try to renounce. Try to go into self-realization, all right? Like that. So that means when they do that, they have no time to read all Vedic literature. But that is not necessary also. This one book, Bhagavad Gita, will suffice because it is the essence of all Vedic literature. Okay? This is the essence of all Vedic literature. And because especially it's spoken by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. All right. Siya Swayam Padmanabhasya. Sorry. Padmanabhan. All right. Ya Swayam Padma Mukha Padma Vinishita. That means it's spoken by the Supreme Personality. You do not need to read any other things. All right. Now, when you look at it, well, okay. Now, it is like this. So, so you do not need to read. Oh, I feel like reading. Like some people, I say, no, I feel like reading that, reading Mahabharata. If you really look at it, how many types of Vedas are there? Let's look at this. Okay. First, Vedas means what? We must understand what is Veda. Okay. What is Veda means? Veda means, okay, Veda means it's a knowledge. In English, we call it knowledge. Okay, book of knowledge. In book of knowledge, in Sanskrit, we call as Vedas. All right. So what happened? Formerly, in previous yuga, all right, there is 4 yugas. Satya Yuga, first yuga. Second is Treta Yuga. And third is Dwapara Yuga. And now we are staying in Kali Yuga. Okay, there's 4 yuga. We will discuss that in detail as we go on. All right, now, in previous yuga, people were so sharp. When a guru speak, the disciple capture it. Uh-oh. Who's that? Okay, I think I better mute everyone. Ask. Okay. Mute participant upon entry. Enable video. Okay, never mind. So please mute yourself. So now, when you see Vedas, so it was like that. So when comes Kali Yuga, Vyasadeva knows people in Kali Yuga, they don't have sharp intelligence to remember everything. So what he did, he divided the Vedas into 4. The Srila Vyasadeva, he compiled the Vedas, book of Shastra. Okay. After he compiled it, he divided into 4. And he gave to his 4 disciples. Paila Maharishi got Rig Veda. Yajur Veda was given to Vaisampayana. Sama Veda was given to Jaimini Rishi. Atharva Veda was given to Sumantu Muni. All right. Then, you know what the disciple did? The disciple took it and they divide the Vedas into further 4. Sanghita, Brahmana, Aranyaka, and Upanishad. So Rig Veda has a 21 Sanghita, 21 Brahmana, 21 Aranyaka, and Upanishad. 21. Yajur Veda was divided into 100. Okay, 100 Sanghita, 100 Brahmana, 100 Aranyaka, like that. There's all these things. Okay. So when you really look at it, what happened? There are 1,130 Sanhitas, 1,130 Brahmanas and Aranyakas. These 2 are rituals. Okay. Birth ritual, death ritual, all different types of ritual. Okay. And 1,130 Upanishad. And Gita, Bhagavad Gita is also known as Gita Upanishad. All right. So total there are 4,520 division. 5,420 division. Just imagine one book, Gita Upanishad. Bhagavad Gita has 700 verses. There's another book called Brahma Sanghita. Srimad Bhagavatam. Srimad Bhagavatam is called, what they call, it has 18,000 verses. There's another book called Chaitanya Charitamrita. It has 11,000 verses. Just take Brahma, what they call, Srimad Bhagavatam. 18,000 verses. If you're going to read one, if you're going to read one verse a day, it's going to take you 54 years to finish it. All right. So we don't have that lifespan. All right. But unfortunately, during the invasion, when the thing was invaded by the Mughal invasion, around 60-70% of the Vedas were destroyed. I think 80% of the Vedas. Now, what we have is only 20%. Others, 80% were totally destroyed. That's why Bhagavad Gita is the summary or the essential what you're going to study in entire Vedas. Okay? All right. So now let's look at, okay, any questions so far on this?
Prabhu,
Yes, Vijay Bharat.
may I know, is it Upanishads and Puranas are the same?
Upanishad is actually the book of knowledge. Yes. Okay, let me see the difference. Okay, I've got a note with me. Where is it? Wait, just give me a second. Purana is also known as, in other words, Upanishad means like, okay, it's deep philosophical. Okay, Upanishad means like you're talking about deep philosophy. Okay, and it is more into like Vedanta. Purana means it spoke about stories, genealogies, incarnation, pastimes. That's why Srimad Bhagavatam is called as Bhagavad Purana. Have you heard about Srimad Bhagavatam?
Yes, Prabhu.
So when you see Srimad Bhagavatam, what we understand in Srimad Bhagavatam, we see stories, genealogy, incarnation, and pastimes. So this is something easy to understand by the common people. But Upanishad is what? Is more into like confidential knowledge or deep knowledge. Okay.
Got it, Prabhu.
Have you heard about Ishopanishad? Have you heard the book Ishopanishad?
No, Prabhu.
Okay. You can go to database and see Ishopanishad. The message is only 11 mantras, but it's very heavy messages. Okay.
Okay, Prabhu.
Excuse me. I just had a pore, and that one make me cough like this. Okay. Anyway, thank you for the question. Any other questions before we start?
No, Prabhu.
Okay, great. All right. So now we're going to start chapter 4. Chapter 1, Arjuna lamentation. Chapter 2, Krishna gave overall. He gave overall picture. All right. Summary. He said, you are the soul, this and that, everything he gave. And now chapter 3, what we have said? Well, you do whatever you're supposed to do, but don't expect any result. All right. But how is that possible? Like yesterday also, like many asked, how is that possible? Or is that expectation, hope? You know, they asked me personally, expectation, hope, is there any difference? This and that. All right. So now let's look at the chapter 4, what Krishna speaks further on this subject. Okay. Now, overview of chapter 4. So in chapter 4, what we could say, Divya Gyan. Divya Gyan means divine knowledge. Divya means divine. Gyan means knowledge. True disciplic succession. What is Divya Gyan? About Krishna, how to attain God, Varna Ashram. Is Bhagavad Gita speak about caste system. All right. There's so many people are accusing Bhagavad Gita, they speak about caste system. Let's see. Approaching a guru. Why? And glories of Divya Gyan. All right. These are the things that is saying. All right. Now, let's look at 4.1. Shri Bhagavan Vacha Imang Vivasvate Yogam Proktavan Aham Avyayam Vivasvan Manave Praha Manur Ikshva Kave Bravit. So Sri Bhagavan Vacha Imam Vishvasvate. All right. So now it says, Krishna says like this. The personality of God, Sri Krishna said, I instructed these imperishable signs. So Bhagavad Gita is a scientific book, imperishable sign to of yoga to the sun god called Vivaswan. Imam Vivashvate Yogam. Okay. I spoke about this to Vivaswan. Then Vivaswan or the sun god instructed this to Manu.
Manu.
Yes. Please mute, please mute. All right. Okay. Okay. Now, so Vivaswan instructed to Manu, Who is Manu? When Brahma created, all right, when Brahma created living entities, he created this person called Prajapati called Manu. Manu created human being. That's why we are known as Manusya or Manushan. In Tamil, we call Manusan, man. Why we are known as man? Because we are descendant of Manu. Okay, in Malay, we call Manusya. In Tamil, we call Manushan. Okay, Manusya, right? So that's why we came from that. So what happened? Vivaswan, after got the knowledge from Krishna, he instruct to Manu, the father of mankind. Then what did Manu did? He went and instruct to Ikshvaku. Who's Ikshvaku? The Surya, what they call dynasty. Ikshvaku, from Ikshvaku dynasty came Lord Ramachandra, right? Lord Ramachandra, the Ramachandra Parambara comes from Ikshvaku Parambara. If you have read Ramayana, you can recall this. All right. So now he said, I instructed this way, right? Then what happened? Then 4.2, then he says, Krishna continues, Evam Parampara Praptam. Imang Raja Rishiyo Viduhu. Sakale Neha Mahata Yogo Nashta Parantapa. Then he says, this supreme secret, the supreme science was thus received through a chain of disciplic succession. What is a disciplic succession? Parampara. Okay, it comes through the parampara. And the saintly kings understood it in that way. All right. Formerly, the saintly kings took this book and they understood it in this way through the parampara system. But after that, what Krishna says, Sa kale neha mahata yogo nashta parantapa. But in course of time, when you talk about Surya Vamsa, okay, or Ikshvaku Parambara, that should be around many thousands of hundreds of thousands years before. Okay, in course of time, what happened? The succession was broken. So the Parambara was broken and that's it. So the Guru will tell disciple, the disciple later will become a Guru, he will tell his disciple, and the disciple like that comes under Guru Parampara. All right. And therefore, the science as it appears to be lost. So these imperishable signs of Bhagavad Gita lost. All right. Then what happened? Okay. So everything became lost. All right. Now let's look at that. Every time when you want to receive, we must remember, we must get from the authentic source. All right. Everything must have some kind of authenticity. Okay. Example I gave like the medical degree that you do. You cannot simply go to one remote place in Bangladesh and go to a university and come back as a doctor. All right. Everything has to be recognized. All right. So the recognize, how they recognize is when the thing happened. I mean, they must have, what they call? It has some authority. That means the Malaysian authority must recognize that particular university. All right. So now, according to the Vedic opinion, every knowledge has to come through parampara. Okay. Like for instance, like when all these Vedas are divided into 4, Paila Rishi brought this Rig Veda into his parampara, his disciples. Okay. Like that, it came down, or according to all the, in that parampara system. So similarly, this is the knowledge of the Shastra has to receive from parampara. Okay. So what is that original parampara? All right. This is the 4 recognized parampara in Vedic system. First is called Rudra Sampradaya. Rudra Sampradaya. Under the Rudra Sampradaya, there's an Acharya called Vishnu Swan. Second, there's a Kumara Sampradaya. The Acharya is called Nimbarka Swan. The third one is Sri Sampradaya. The Acharya is Ramanuja Swami. When you go to South India, you see they are wearing the big tilak, big namam, Okay. Number 4 is Brahma Madhva Gaudiya Sampradaya. and the Acharya is Madhvacharya. All right. So when you look at this is the 4 original parampara. Any knowledge that derives from this parampara is called authentic. Other than this parampara, out of this parampara, any knowledge that comes down, it can be imagination, or in other words, it can be bogus. Bogus means what? Something which is not true. Other than this parampara, all the other gurus, acharyas, they are merely giving their opinion. The Vedas are perfect. But the problem is humans are not perfect. Human has 4 defects. The first defect, the human can make mistake. All right. The human can be illusion. The tendency of making mistake. Number 2, they always get illusion. All right. Number 3, tendency to cheat. All right. They also got a tendency to cheat. Like that, human being got 4 defects. In that defective mode, it is not possible for a person to give opinion. That's why we do not give any opinion. We simply repeat what we heard from acharyas and whatever in the parampara, and we just simply repeat it. We don't give any opinion. All right. So that's why this 4 sampradaya is very important. All right. So the Guru Parampara Brahma Madhva Gaudiya. Like now we are from the Brahma Madhva Gaudiya Sampradaya. And the Guru Parampara come from Krishna, start from him, from Lord Brahma, Narada Muni, Vyasadeva, Madhvacharya, Padmanabha, Narahari, Madhava, like that he comes down until Jagannath Das Babaji, Bhakti Vinod Thakur, Gaur Kishore Das Babaji, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada, and at last the founder Acharya A.C. Bhakti Vedanta Swami Prabhupada. All right. And he has initiated thousands of disciples, and that disciples have created their disciple. Like that, the parampara is going on for eternity. So it has to go through that way. Now let's look at 4.4. Arjuna Vacha Aparang Bhavato Janma Parang Janma Vivasvataha Katam Etat Vijaniyam Twang Adav Proktavan Iti Alama. Arjuna is becoming more confused now. Aparam Bhavato Janma. Right? Param Janma Vivasvata. Aparam Bhavato Janma. That means you are young. Param Janma. That means Vivasvan. That means the sun god is even older. Param Janma. Janma means birth. He's elder. Param means elder. More. Katam Eta Vijaniyam. Tvam Adam Proktavam Iti. So Arjuna said, the sun god Vivasvan is senior by birth to you. Right? How am I to understand that in the beginning you instructed the science to him? How to understand that? Now, Arjuna and Krishna are good friends, cousins and good friends. All right? When suddenly your good friend says, right? Yesterday, during the full moon, Lord, Lord Chandra came to visit me. When someone say that to you, how will you react? Will you think that, will you like laugh at it? Yes or not? Yes or not? What? Lord Chandra came and see you? I mean, what? Are you joking or what? What did you have for breakfast? Right? People will be like, hey, you are, what's wrong? But the problem is, why did Arjuna never say that? Hey, Krishna, are you telling the truth or not? Vivasvan, you and I are cousins, Vivasvan is so old, the sun god. You are telling me that you teach him? But are you joking or what? But he didn't say that. But he said, how am I to understand that? Why he said that? Because Arjuna has surrendered to Krishna as a disciple. When Arjuna surrendered to Krishna as disciple, whatever, this is how the disciples speak to a spiritual master. They don't laugh at him, right? So this is another example that Arjuna surrendered to Krishna and Krishna is giving instruction and Arjuna simply accepting the instruction. But he said it very humbly. In the beginning, you instructed the science stream how to understand this Krishna. All right. Then Krishna continues. 4.5. Shri Bhagavan Vacha Bahuni me vyatitani Janmani tavacha Arjuna Tanyaham Veda Sarvani Tani Aham Veda Sarvani Natvam Veta Parantapa. The personality of God, it says, Krishna, Bahuni me vyatitani Janmani tavacha Arjuna Tanyaham Veda Sarvani Natvam Veta Parantapa. So Hare Krishna is explaining here. He says what? Many births both you and I have passed. Many births you and I have passed. I can remember all of them, but you cannot. O subduer of enemy. So now Krishna is saying, many births you and I have passed through. All right? But I can remember them, but you cannot. Okay? Now, then in the following verse, all right? So there are, okay, how to understand? Now let's look at this. Many births, both of you and I have passed. So how many births are there actually? All right? How many kinds of births are there? Let's look at this. This is a shocking part. It is not. Sometimes they go and see an astrologer. This bogus astrologer will tell you, oh, this is going to be a final birth. There's no such thing. That is totally, absolutely cheating. All right? Sometimes you have seen, right? Like they told my auntie, no, you're already done. 7 births done. She has already gone. I say, how can that be? Because the Veda says there are 8.4 million species. There are 900,000 aquatics, the animal that lives under ocean or any water related. There are 2 million trees and plants. There are 1.1 million insects and reptiles. There are 3 million kinds of mammal. And there are 1 million kinds of birds. And there are 400,000 humans and humanoids. Right? So even in the human species, got 400,000 varieties. Right? How many colors there is? There's a black color, yellow, red, brown, white. Right? There's a varieties of colors. And the hairstyle also got varieties of color. There are 400,000 species. And you know what is the scary part? We have passed through each and every species of life. Right? We have passed through all the 900,000 kinds of aquatics. We have passed through 2 million trees and plants. We have passed through 1.1 million insects and reptiles like snakes and all these things we have passed through that. We lived that body before. We lived in that body before. We have passed through the mammals, 3 million kinds of mammals. We have passed through 1 million kinds of birds. And in a human body, we have passed through all varieties. In every varieties of life that we have taken, we have gained some experience. We have gained some knowledge. We have gained some intelligence. We have gained all the good and the bad. And we died in all varieties of death. We born in all varieties of birth. So when you look at 8.4 million species, the 8.4 million species are born in this world in 4 different ways. 2.1 million species born through eggs. Egg. Doesn't matter whether it's aquatic, whether it's whatever, okay, reptile or whatever. They born through egg. There's 2.1 million species born through semen, like mammals, human, right? Born through semen. I think even the whale also, right? It also produces semen. 2.1 million species. 2.1 million species born through seed. Seed. Right? And 2.1 million species born through water. All right? Like water related, waterborne kind of disease. So there are total 8. That means there's 4 kinds of way a person comes to this earth and they stay. All right. So this is very important thing that we should know. All right. And in 4.7, Krishna says, all right. Then of course, here is 4.5. Now we are jumping to 4.7. He says, all right. So what is the reason I came here for? Now he's explaining. Yada yada hi dharmasya glanir bhavati bharata abhyutanam adharmasya. Adharma means non-dharmic. Tadatmanam srijamyaham. He says, whenever and wherever there's a decline in religious practice, right? Decline in religious practice or descendant of Bharata and a predominant rise of irreligion, adharma. At that time, I descend myself. What descend means? I come down. I come down in all varieties of species, the varieties of way, right? We think there's only Dasa avatar, 10 avatar. Actually, there's so many different kinds of incarnation. All right. It's mentioned in Srimad Bhagavatam. All right. So what is the reason he come down? Yada yada hi dharmasya. Whenever and wherever there's to protect the dharma. Glanir bhavati bharata. Abhyutanam adharmasya. Right. To destroy adharma. Tadatmanam srijamyaham. So whenever and wherever there's a decline in religious practice and a predominant of irreligion, I descend myself. That's when I come. I destroy the atheistic people or the demoniac people, and I re-establish the dharma. Why is telling that? Because he's informing Arjuna. This is the time that he's informing Arjuna that I came here to destroy all these people. I came here to destroy all Kshatriya, all adharmic king. Because those days, for the king, there's a certain dharmas for certain kind of people. There are 4 types of people: Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, and Shudra. Okay, the Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, and Shudra. Brahmanas are not allowed to tell lies. They can never tell lies. They have to be very truthful. Kshatriya, they have to keep to their word. Duryodhana says, you go and come back, I will give you the kingdom. He didn't do that. You have to keep the word. Right? Number 3, Vaishyas allowed to tell lies. Vaishya means businessman. Only the businessman allowed to tell lie. I buy this for 10 ringgit and I sell, hey boss, I bought for 10 ringgit, never mind, I give you 11 ringgit, I make 1 ringgit profit. What will you say? Can you give me 9? So what they say? Oh, this one I bought it for 20 ringgit, but for you, I give you 18. 15 can or not? Okay, can. 15. So they tell lies. And the 4th one, Shudras, or the laborers, the labor class, are not allowed to tell lies. So in different what they call in Varnashram, different duty, there is certain rules, this thing, right? So why Krishna is telling, I came here to what? Arjuna, whenever and wherever there's a decline in religious practice, I came here to uphold the dharma. Okay, that's the thing. But of course, at the same time, there's another aim. All right, another aim is also to destroy all. To take back, to liberate all these great Raja Rishis, the kings who are so saintly kings. Take them to heaven, because Kali Yuga starting. When Kali Yuga starts, everything should go haywire. So that's the idea, right? Then after that, he says 4.8. Please mark this thing, right? What is another reason that he says 4.8? Paritranaya sadhunam, vinashaya cha dushkritam, dharma sansthapanarthaya sambhavami yuge yuge. Yugama sambhavam panna varuven. Sambhavami yuge yuge. So what he says, to deliver the pious, at the same time, annihilate. What is annihilate means? Totally destroy the miscreants. Right? Duskritam, duskritis. Nonsense, miscreants. as well to re-establish Dharma Samstha Panarthaya, re-establish the principle of religion. I myself appear millennium after millennium. So Krishna comes in every millennium in all kinds of avatar, like Narasingha Dev, like Vamana Dev, all these avatar, they come down to protect the devotees and to destroy the element that disturbs the devotee. I hope that you all have seen this movie, Narasingha, right? Prahlad, recently played in the theater. You know, the way that sun was, the way that Hiranyakasipu tortured the sun. Okay, just see how Narasingha Dev, the way they draw this photo, so nice. The way that what they call Prahlad hugging Narasingha Dev, right? That is what. So that is the reason. Now 4.9. Then Krishna says also, Janma karma chame divyam evangyo vetti tatpataha tyaktva deham punarjanma naiti mam eti so Arjuna. But one who knows this transcendental nature, he says, but one who knows the transcendental nature of my appearance. We say Janma karma. Janma means birth. Karma means activity. Me divyam, which is auspicious. Tyaktva deham punarjanma. Okay, Tyakta deham punarjanma naiti mam. So he says, the one who knows the transcendental nature of my appearance. And also activities. What I did when I came as Narasingha, what I did. When I came as Bali Maharaj, the Malayalis worship Onam. All right, Onam Pandigay, the 3 land, they say. So what is the activities when they who knows the transient nature of my appearance and activities does not what? Upon leaving the body. What does that mean? Upon death, he does not take his birth again in this material world. He won't born again in this horrible place. Material world is called Dukkha Alayam. Dukkha means suffering. Alayam means area or place. He never be born in this material world again. And what happened to him? He attains my eternal abode. O Arjuna. In the previous chapter, when you have noticed what Krishna says, Durena Yavaram Karma, throw away all your unwanted things. In that consciousness, surrender unto the Lord. So Arjuna was talking, surrender. Krishna was telling, surrender unto the Lord. Sacrifice. We studied about the fire sacrifice. All sacrifice to Vishnu has to be done. And that sacrificial, this thing pleases the Lord. He didn't say, please me. He said, pleases the Lord. Right? In the 3rd. But now in the 4th chapter, Krishna coming to the point. Okay? When you look at before that, he says that I will, what happened? Okay. So what he says? Here he says, Yada yada hi dharmasya. Whenever and wherever there's a decline in practice. All right? And predominant, at that time I descend. Now Krishna is saying, he will come down. Oh. Then again he says, to deliver the pious, I myself, the word I again. Before that, he said, on behalf, he said, serve the Lord. But he said, I. And now 4.9, he says, but after that he says, but those who knows the way why I came here, what is my activity, and this kind of people, when they leave the body, when they die, they will never be born again in this material world. What happened to him? He attained my eternal abode. That means they come to my abode where there is no death, no birth, no disease, and no anxiety, no nothing. All right? He come to that. Okay? Now let's look at this. Then in 4.10, what Krishna says, Vittaraga Bayakroda Manmaya Mam Upashritaha Bahavo Jnana Tapasa Putamad Bhavam Agata. What does that mean? So he says, then Krishna continues, says, okay? He says, being freed from attachment. Being what? Free from attachment. Attachment on what? All right? Okay. Attachment. Being attached to, okay, like for instance, attached to my job, attached to my duty, attached to this, attached. So being freed from all kind of attachment. Being free from what? Also fear and anger. Being freed from attachment, fear, and anger. Being fully absorbed in me. All right? Man maya man upashrita. All right? Vittaraga, Baya, Krodha. Vitta. Vittaraga, Baya. Baya means scared. Krodha means anger. Man, Maya, Mam, Upashita. Being fully absorbed in me. Right? And taking refuge in me. All right? Taking refuge. What does that mean? I say, dear Krishna, whatever happened, you take care. I am taking refuge at you. Okay? I know I am not in the position, okay, to take care. I am taking a surrender. Okay, I just show the white flag. Surrender, my Lord. I take refuge at your lotus feet. Right? Being fully absorbed in me and taking refuge in me. What happened? Many person in the past became purified by knowledge of me. Bahavo jnana tapasa. Jnana means purified the knowledge. Then Puta Mat. Mat means me. If you got a Bhagavad Gita, you can see the translation 4.10. Right? In Bhagavad Gita by Srila Prabhupada, he gives you a word by word translation. So what he says 4.10, let's look at this. So 4.10. Vita. Vita means freed from. Raga, attachment. Vaya, fear. Krodha, anger. Mat, maya. Fully in me. Mat or mat is me. Right? Mam. Me. Man means me. Right? Upashrita. Bahava. So, okay. Mat bhavam. Transcendental love for me. Agata, attained. So, word by word. So, it says then, knowledge of me. Right? Purified by knowledge of me. And thus, they all attain transcendental love of me. Uttama bhavam agata. Okay? They attain transcendental love for me. Okay? Now, let's continue. All right? So, how is the process in progress in devotional service? All right? This is called progressive step for advancement in devotional service. So, initially when we start with faith. All right? Okay, now I'm studying Bhagavad Gita. I know I've started with little faith. And after the faith, you develop a faith. The next step, what do? You do sadhu sangha. What is sadhu sangha means? Association with devotees. You start to associate with devotees, you start to learn more. Bhagavad Gita, then slowly, future, you study Bhagavatam, you start to learn more and more. Then after what do? You do the third thing called Bhajana Kriya. What is Bhajana Kriya means? Performance of devotional service. So when you start to perform the devotional service, what happened to you? Anartha Nivirti. Anartha Nivirti means decreasing of unwanted attachments. All the nonsense thing that stick in your heart that is bothering you will start to leave you. And then you come to the level of Nishtha. Nishtha means what? You become steady. Once you become steady, you come to the next level called Ruchi. In Tamil, we call Rusi. Right? Taste. And the next level, you come to Ashakti, Asakti, or attachment. Then you come to Bhava, love. At last, you come to the level of Prema, pure love for Krishna. So this is the progressive devotional steps. All right? So we will discuss this as we go on. Now, okay? Now 4:13, Krishna explains. Chatur Varniyam. Chatur means 4. Varnam means Varnam, all right? The division. Chatur Varniyam Maya Shrishtam. Gunak Karma Vibhagashaha. Tasya Kartaram Apimang Vidya Kartaram Avyayam. So according to 3 modes of material nature. Okay, what he says? Now this is quite interesting. This is going to be very interesting. Right? So now, let's see. According to the 3 modes of material nature. 3 modes of material nature. That means the mode of goodness, mode of passion, mode of ignorance. Then work associated with them. That means the work associated with mode of goodness, passion, and ignorance. Then he says, okay, Chatur Varniyam Maya Shristam, Guna Karma Vibhagasa. Right? That's the 4 division of human society. 4 division of human society means what? The Brahmana, the Kshatriya, the Vaishya, the business, or the Shudra, the laborer. They are created by me. Krishna says, I create this division. And although I am the creator of the system, you should know that I am yet the non-doer of being unchangeable. All right. So even I created the system, the division of this thing. All right. You must remember that I am the non-doer. Okay. Now, all right. What does that mean by the fourth division? Is this a caste system? You know, like Ambedkar, the so-called great thinker of India, the one who creates the Constitution of India after India got independence, Ambedkar. He says Bhagavad Gita has to be rejected because Bhagavad Gita speaks on racism. Bhagavad Gita speaks on the caste, high caste, low caste. You know, high caste is worshipable, low caste untouchable, throw away to the side. All right, the caste system, jadi, male jadi, keel jadi, தாழ்ந்த ஜாதி, ஒதுக்கப்பட்ட ஜாதி. Does it really exist in Bhagavad Gita? No. In Bhagavad Gita or in Vedas, the caste system, it is actually divided according to the nature of one's job. Right? You can put the flower and connect through the, because my projector is not working. Connect to your phone. Okay. So now, the caste system is what? The caste system is something that created. It has been manipulated by the British because they know the Indian system of spirituality and all this can never be shaken, can never be broken. Yeah. So what happened? They came out with the idea about dividing and conquering. All right. So divide. So they created the system to confuse everyone. You got it? In our Vedic system, there's no such thing caste. A person can be born in a great elevated Brahmanical family, but he got an attitude or he got a thing like a Shudra, is known as Brahma Bandhu. Yeah, they call Brahma Bandhu, yes. All right. So at the same time, a person born in the family of a Chandala, among the caste system, okay, in there, you know, when you look at the lower caste, there's a lot of division of lower caste, right? Like, for example, like Parayas, Chaklis, and all these. But among them, the lowest is who? The lowest is called Chandala. Chandala is the lowest. They are out of the caste system. And what do? The dog eaters. Chandala is called as the dog eaters. All right? They are the dog eaters. Even Chandala take up to the path of devotional service. And if he gets purified, the Veda says, by washing his feet and taking the water and sprinkling on your head, guarantees liberation. Can you see that? That is the Vedas. But whatever this Ambedkar and all these political leaders of India, all nonsense. They created a big confusion. There is no such thing as what they call denial according to the caste system. The low caste, high caste, this caste, that caste. But of course, people in between did manipulate the system to show their supremacy. All right. Like example, I born in a Chettiar family. In order to prove that Chettiar is great, I need to push other people down. You got it? Bhagavad Gita speaks about this very clearly. And as we go on, we're going to speak about that. Because Krishna says, I created the system. When he created the system, means he created the system. Does it very imbalanced system? No. When everyone stick to their duty. All right. The Brahmanas means teachers. Their job is to teach the other people. And they are meek and humble. They have to be protected by Kshatriya, who is a warrior. Right? And in order to supply what they call the grains and take care of the economy of the country, They need Vaishya, the business people, or the mercantile, or the farmer. And who going to help the farmer? They need a laborer, Shudra. Right? So is there anything? No problem. Right? But of course, it has been manipulated. Okay, we must remember that very clearly. The Vedas has not spoken on the manipulation of the caste system. All right? It has been created by the so-called educationists who wanted to destroy the ancient civilization, the Vedic civilization. Even now, you see, in South India, the chief minister, such a demoniac chief minister. So it happened more and more people like this kind of demons will start to be born and they will start to destroy all the system, right? So you must remember that, okay? Now let's look at 14. Krishna continues. Namang karma nilimpanti. Name karma pales praha. Iti mang yo bijanati. Karma virs nasa badhyate. So what Krishna says after that, he says, no work. There is no work that affects me, nor do I aspire for the fruits of action. There's nothing can affect me and I don't expect any result. One who understands, that means those who understand this truth about me also does not become entangled in the fruitive reaction of work. So that means what? Very important. So he says, even the person, that means nothing can affect me and I don't aspire for any kind of result. And those who understand this truth about me, Krishna says, if you know that truth, that I don't expect anything, I don't expect any result, that person also does not become entangled. He doesn't get entangled. All right? Entangled in what? Fruitive reaction of work. So when you perform your job, of course, you're performing fruitive reaction. You're doing a fruitive, you're going to work, you're expecting salary, right? There's a salary is paid to you and everything. So you're exchanging your effort for a money. I put this much of my knowledge, my intelligence, my effort, you pay me this much. So there's a fruit of your action. But if you know this truth about Krishna, even you are involved in that fruitive activity, you will never get entangled. Or in other words, you will be never affected by karmic reaction. You won't be affected by the reaction. 24. 24, what Krishna says, right? All right. What he says? Brahmarpanam, Brahmahavir, Brahmagnam, Brahmanahutam, Brahmaiva tena gantavyang, Brahma karma samadhina. This mantra usually they chant when they do the fire sacrifice. Brahmarpanam, Brahmahavir, Brahmagnam, Brahmanahutam, Brahmaiva tena gantavyam, Brahma karma samadhina. It says what? A person who is fully absorbed in Krishna consciousness. All right? Brahmarpanam. He is sure to attain the spiritual kingdom. Okay? Because of his full contribution to spiritual activities, in which the consummation is absolute. That which is offered is of the same spiritual nature. Okay? So it says that person who are fully absorbed in Krishna consciousness is sure to attain spiritual kingdom. Or because he is fully contributed in spiritual activity. Right? And in which the consummation is absolute. That means, how to say it? In the consummation is absolute, which is offered is of the same. That means, in other words, when you look at this photo here, when a devotee, right, whatever things that he eat, drink, or give away, they offer to the Lord first. That's what they call consummation. The consummation is absolute. That means absolutely they are offered. I mean, it's spirit is they offer to the Lord, and the offering is also at the same spiritual nature. Okay, like this simple word. When you get your salary, you offer your salary to Krishna. What happened? Your activity in job and this thing, it becomes spiritual. All right, in other words, okay, we discussed that yesterday. Okay, okay. Now, 434. Okay, another important thing. After knowing all this, well, Krishna says, you must know about me, you must know about everything. But now the thing, how to do that? Krishna says, look here, if you want to know this, follow this method. Tat vidhi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya upadekshanti te jnanam jnaninas tattva darshanaha. Krishna said what? Try to learn the truth by approaching a spiritual master. Okay? Inquire from him submissively. Inquire. All right? Then render service unto him. All right? Pariprashnena sevaya. Render service. The self-realized soul can impart knowledge. Upadesham and jnanam. So the upadesham and jnanam, okay, can impart the knowledge unto you. Why? Because they have seen the truth. Because they have seen. Jnaninas tattva darshana. They can see the truth. Since the spiritual master have seen the truth, he can impart the knowledge unto you. But how to approach him? Approach him in a very submissive way. If you approach him in submissive way, how? You ask him, you inquire. Your relationship with your spiritual master is supposed to be inquiry and answer. Right? You're supposed to ask him question. And how? Ask him very humbly. At the same time, you also must render service. You must serve him. Right? So they can impart the knowledge. That means by blessing you, they can impart the knowledge unto you because they have seen the truth. All right? So now when you look at this, the spiritual master plays a very important role. Krishna says, don't approach me directly. When you come to me directly, I may not entertain you. Yeah, I think we study that in the future, right? He said, you may use my name. No, you can you can say, there's another one, Purana, I have forgotten. You can say, I'm your devotee, I born, you're my Kula Devata, Kula Devam, right? Like especially Gujarati, they say, oh, this is our Kula Devam. We are part of Yadav, Yadava. Yadav? Konar. In Tamil, we call Konar. Konar people. Konar Jadi, right? Konar. Konar, these are people like Yadavas. They feel that they are part of Krishna's kingdom from Dwaraka. Yadav, Konar. That's why you see, they all carry the Krishna's name, Gopala, Krishnan, and all this kind of thing, right? Then Gujarati, they say, oh, this is my Kula Devam, all this. But Krishna said very clearly, you don't waste your time approaching me. You surrender to my spirit, to my pure devotee. Serve him. By doing that, you will know me in detail. So now, suddenly there's something came into my mind. In Bhagavad Gita, whenever you go to certain house, they say what? Bhagavad Gita became a spiritual quote. What have you brought? What that you're going to bring? Bhagavad Gita, the quote of Bhagavad, people make the quote of Bhagavad, the 7th quote of Bhagavad Gita, the 8th quote of Bhagavad Gita as a motivational quote. Now you really see how depth Bhagavad Gita is. Bhagavad Gita basically speaks about everything, right? But of course, some very clever people will simply quote Bhagavad Gita as a motivational quote, right? So see, also they talk about approaching a guru, spiritual master. Now, okay. Now let's look at 435. Ya jnatva na punar moham evam yasyasi pandava yena bhutani asheshani drakshyasyatmani atomayi. Then what Krishna says, having obtained the real knowledge now, after approach a guru, you obtain a real knowledge from a self-realized soul. All right? Then you will never fall again in such illusion. Right? You can never fall again into that illusion. By which, okay, by this knowledge, that means through this knowledge, okay, for this knowledge, you will see that all living being, that means what you see in all the living being, part of the Supreme. Or in other words, that they are mine. Drakshashi Atmani Atomai. Atmani, that means all these are Ato, mine. Mai means me, என்னோட. belong to me. Drakshasya atmani atomai. So you can see, you are being obtained real knowledge. I mean, you get a real knowledge from spiritual master. You will never fall into illusion. And through this knowledge, you start to see all living beings, but part of the Supreme. All right, all the living entities. All right, Jivatma, Paramatma. Or in other words, they are mine. So now Krishna is declaring, yes, they are actually mine. Okay. Now let's look at the next one. Then 36. Then Krishna also gives assurance. Apichet asipapebhya. Apichet asipapebhya. Sarvebhya papakritamaha. Sarvam jnana plave naiva. Virjnyam santarishyasi. Vrijinang santarishyasi. All right. Plavena. Plavena means boat. Plav. All right. So it says, 44:36, what Krishna says. Even if you are considered to be most sinful of all sinners, even a person considered to be extremely sinful. All right. What is that sin we can think of? What is the worst thing? Worst, terrible sin? There's a lot of hierarchy of sin. All right. But what is the number one sin? Abortion. Aborting a child is a number one sin. It's a horrible kind of sin. Going for abortion, killing the child whimsically out of illicit, or suddenly accident baby, don't want, phew, terrible sin. And what is the second type of sin? Killing a cow. Every fur in the cow's body, a person has to be born and killed. Not only killing the cow, even eating the cow. When a cow is killed, 7 people share the same sin. The veterinarian that approves the cow, the guy who transports the cow, the guy who slaughters the cow, the guy who sells the meat, the guy who buys the meat, the guy who cooks the meat, and the guy who eats the meat. 7 of them equal share. All right, it's not to say, somebody's killing, I'm just eating. No, 7 people. All right, but doesn't matter what to do. So now Krishna is giving us assurance. There's 2 things are limiting you in life. First is karma. All that past birth karma is so much of troublesome. It's holding you back. All the things that we are suffering and enjoying because of all the past birth karma. And what is the second thing we are suffering? Is because of sin. All the sin. And how to purify the sin? Of course, the hellish punishment to purify the sin. Right? But now Krishna says, Apichet asipapebhya. Papa. All varieties of sin. Please mute, please mute. Right, okay. So now, apichet asipapebhya, that means all varieties of sin. If you can be considered the most sinful of all sinners, wow, that's horrible. You can be the emperor of the sinner. Then he says, when you are situated in the boat of transcendental knowledge, but jnana plave naiva, right? Sarvam jnana plave naiva. What is plave naiva is mentioned? Oh, you don't have word. You should give this book. Look at the translation also. And the booklet translation, I mean word by word. Okay. This is 436.
By the boat of transcendental knowledge.
Sarva greater sin, Sarva Jnana Plavinia, the boat of transcendental knowledge. Yes. Come. Keep this book. All right. So Sarva Jnana Plave Naiva. Plave Naiva. Plava means Plave means boat. Jnana means transcendental knowledge. Jnanam. Jnanam. So Sarva Jnana means all. Complete. So it says, when you are situated in the boat of transcendental knowledge, what happened? You will be able to cross over the ocean of misery. We are all stuck in this ocean of miserable life. All right. How to give you an analogy? Say like you're going at night, going to the beach. Have you been? Oh, you're from Sityavan, right? All right. You see for you have not seen okay. At night, you go to the beach. You know, some of you from Penang or Sityavan, you go to the beach. What happened at night? You can hear the sound, but it's pitch dark. There's no light. Correct or not? Right? It's like you're crossing the Penang Bridge. You look at the ocean, sea, pitch dark. Pitch dark. And it's so scary. In that scary ocean, we are struggling for survival. Just imagine you're having a boat and there's no rudder, and you're hitting from left, you're hitting from the right, the wave. All varieties, black, front, back, front, Imagine, so scary. But Krishna says here, even if you are the worst sinner, no worries. All right? If you are situated in the boat of transcendental knowledge, you'll be able to cross the ocean of misery. And what is that transcendental knowledge? This is what? What is that transcendental knowledge? This is the question that we want to know. What is the transcendental knowledge? That is the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita. All right? The Bhagavad Gita is not only going to inspire you to make you come out of all this, but it also will save you from all varieties of situation. Okay? Now, let's move on. 39. 439. What's mentioned here? Shraddha va lapnate jnanam tatpara sanyatendriya jnanam labdva parang shantim achirenadi gacchati. Now what Krishna says? A faithful man. Okay, what is a faithful man in Sanskrit? What is mentioned? Word, huh? Sharatvan. All right. So Saratvan means a faithful man who is dedicated to transcendental knowledge. How? Dedicated. He's dedicated to transcendental knowledge. At the same time, who subdues his sense. Subdue senses means what? He controls his senses. He don't allow the senses to act whimsically. Okay, these are the people eligible to achieve such knowledge. So these are the people are eligible to achieve such knowledge. Jnanam labdva parang shanti acherenadi gacchati. That means such knowledge, and having achieved it, after he achieved that such knowledge, he quickly attains the supreme spiritual peace. All right? He attained the supreme spiritual peace. All right? Okay. Now, right. Okay. Now, this is one example here. All right? This example from the story of Chaitanya Charitamrita. All right? So, the story is like this. Okay, let me get the... what color I should use? Okay, blue. Okay. Okay, in East Bengal, all right, there was a Brahmana named Tapan Mishra. What happened? He was confused after reading many Vedic literature. He read too many Vedas regarding the conclusion and the means to achieve liberation. He approached Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and sincerely inquired him to clear his confusion. He said, I'm very confused. Please clear. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, what he did, in Kali Yuga, he said, one can't achieve perfection. One cannot achieve perfection of life by being a bookworm. You can never achieve perfection by being a bookworm. One can attain salvation only by chanting the holy name of Krishna. The Shastra recommended here, it says, Harir Nama, Harir Nama, Harir Nama Kevalam. Kalau nasti eva, nasti eva, nasti eva gadir anyataha. So it says, in this age of quarrel and hypocrisy, the only means of deliverance is the chanting of the holy name of the Lord. And there's no other way, there's no other way, there's no other way. It says, what? Kalau nasti eva, nasti eva, nasti eva gadir anyataha. Other than that, there's no other way, there's no other way, there's no other way of achieving easily perfection. All right? So what is that conclusion of all the Veda Shastras? To ultimately come to this point of chanting the holy name of Krishna. Okay. Right. So therefore, take the RDC formula. Okay. Take the commitment RDC formula. This RDC formula really works wonder. All right. Read Bhagavad Gita daily. Distribute Bhagavad Gita and chant Hare Krishna. Chant the holy name. Try and see. Okay. Chant maybe with your maybe your fingers, three phalanx. That means 9 times. Try to chant at least 12 times. Or you try to get some mala from anywhere, just try to chant. Okay, there's no rules and regulation. If you can't get any mala, if you have a rudraksha, use rudraksha. Doesn't matter whichever way, no matter what. Try chanting. Read Bhagavad Gita daily. Right? At the same time, distribute. This RDC formula can produce tremendous peace and produce a fantastic result in your life. All right. So with that, we are all at the final listing. Now we open for questions. Is there any questions? Any comment? Yes, Vijay Bharat, you want to ask something?
Oh, no. Sorry, Prabhu. Accidentally pressed.
Okay, right.
Sorry, Prabhu.
Sure, no problem. No problem. Any takeaway? Anyone got any takeaway? Any anything that you learned something new, or you have any questions? All okay? How come today became so silent? Did you all understand what I spoke?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Yes, Hare Krishna, Nagarajan Prabhu.
From what I understand, correct me, Prabhu.
Okay.
Whatever, even a Sandala or even whatever Paba you do, by reading and reciting and follow Krishna, we will be saved.
What is it? Will be what?
We will be saved from the Paba, whatever sins we
Definitely.
have done.
Yes, exactly. That's
Thank
why
you,
Bhagavad
Prabhu.
Gita is the book of atonement, Prabhu. Because you see, if the way to clear your sin, it is so hard.
That's right.
You know? So
Yeah.
just now, like, for instance, like, I don't know, what my forefathers have done. Sometimes we also inherit our forefathers' sin. You know, who knows?
Okay.
The
Thank
World
you,
War
Prabhu.
II. I mean, during the World War II, I don't know what my grandfather did. You know, maybe he have betrayed someone, or maybe he should have illicit affair, or by then he should have a baby and he should have like abort. Nobody knows, right? We don't know what they have done,
Yes.
but we inherit the sin. But now the thing is, what we always think, in order to get the sin, I rather go to India, bathe in Ganga. Yes or not?
Yes.
Or go to Tirupati.
Yeah.
Do that. But now Bhagavad Gita, what Krishna said, what he says? Be in transcendental knowledge, not chanting lah. What is this? So what is it? Being in transcendental knowledge.
Mental knowledge.
You know my past, you know my activity, you know what I've done. Just by having that knowledge, you can surpass all the ocean of what? Misery, yes. So what we understand from here? All right. Is it necessary for us to go to Ganga, Yamuna to take a bath there? Or we just simply read Gita?
Yes.
Correct?
Believe in.
Exactly. Yes. Yeah. That's why Vedas are very important. All right. From us, because when we don't know anything, we like to do a very tedious, confused way of ritual. But it's very simple. Just understand. Just listen to his. Just try to know his pastimes. What Krishna did, how he did this, he said that, blah, blah, blah. And chant the Hare Krishna mantra. Sufficient. Nice question.
Thank you.
Very nice question, Nagaraj. Welcome.
You,
you're most welcome. Any other people got any takeaway? Any question? Okay, excuse me. All right. Joshi. Excuse me, sir. I just like to know why abortion is #1 sin, even though there are, to me, far worse sins. Is that explicitly stated in the Bhagavad Gita that is the #1 sin? Is it in the future they come up with this contraceptive method? that are less aggressive than abortion, would it be acceptable to use them? Right. See, abortion is killing a child in the womb. It's equal to murder. Right? When we murder someone, certain countries punishable by death. So when the child which is created is in the womb, right? When the person kills it, it's not mentioned in the, I mean, the sins, all what is number one, what is number two is mentioned in Garuda Purana. All right, the book of sin and punishment, Garuda Purana. So, the abortion, I mean, see, abortion is terrible. Once the child has been created in the womb, that means the human person or your life has taken in the womb, you have no right to kill it. All right. Even though we can say, oh, this is not fair, that's it, but it is against the view of Shastra. All right. Abortion is terribly sin because it's killing a life, killing a human being. All right. Killing a human being. And other than that, you said that it's a number one sin, and is that in the future they come up with other contraceptive method? The contraceptive method, whatever method, it is also because this is also a pillar of sin. All right. What is the 4 pillar of sin? Illicit sex, intoxication, gambling, and what? Meat eating. Meat eating. This is the 4 pillar of sin. So when a person can keep him under control, prevent this kind of illicit sex, this kind of situation can be overcome. When a person cannot control themselves, it's better for them to be married. Can I get them married? Let them have child legally. Okay? Joshi, Prabhu? Prabhu or Mataji, I'm not sure. Thank you. Where are you from, Joshi? It sounds like from India, is it? Oh, PJ. Okay. All right. Okay. Hope I've answered you. So in other words, life, every living entity has right to live. Okay. Why? We will also discuss that after Manushyanam Sahasra, so after millions of birth and death, one will get an opportunity to take a birth as a human being. Which verse is that? Chapter? Manushyanam Sahasra 4, 5. I think the 5th or 6th chapter we study that. How rare to be born as a human being, and out of the rare thing, how rare to be to come in contact to this Gita. Right? So we will, that's when you can understand how rare. Okay. Any other questions?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Yes, Mataji, Hare Krishna.
Okay. May I know what is the easiest way to study each sloka and to understand it? Because there's a lot of meaning in each sloka. I mean, when we read, and then after some time, like maybe a couple of days later, then we read again, it gives a different meaning. But when we start to study each sloka in detail, how do we make it easier? Could you just share with us your experience of, otherwise you've come to this level, so nice to hear. And so can you share how to go about studying each sloka?
Yes, you asked a fantastic question. All right, that's the studies that I'm doing, deep studies of it. Okay, now example, I take this. Can you see the screen?
Yes. Yeah.
Right. I take the Bhagavad Gita here. All right. I just simply take one. Okay, take 8 verse attaining the Supreme, chapter 8. All right. So now, okay, now I take text 4. All right. When I look at the text 4, look at 8.4. 8.4. All right.
Yeah.
8.4. Right. So now in this text, so usually what I recommend like this. First thing is, we try to read word by word and try to understand. Adi Bhutang Sharo Bhavaha Purushas Chandi Daivattam Adi Yakno Aham Evatra Dehe Pratang Vara. Dehe means what? Body, Dehangal, right? Body. So now let's look at the word Adi Bhutam. Adi Bhutam, the physical manifestation. Shara, constantly changing. Bhava, nature. Purusha, the universal form, including all the demigods like the sun and the moon. Cha, and Adi Daivam, called Adi Daiva. Adi Yakna, the super soul. Aham, I. Aham means I, Krishna. Eva, certainly. Atra, this, they. Okay, so you study this. So, in order to read the thing nicely, you know what usually I do is like this. Even if those people are studying any other book also, so when you use this method, it really works. Okay, it's like this. Example, the best of the embodied beings. Okay, I try to understand what does it means embodied. You have any idea what is embodied?
Body. Could you explain, please?
Okay, that means it's like this. That means when you're talking about, okay, this is going a little out of topic, but this is going to be the topic we're going to discuss in the future. But since Mataji asked, I'd like to answer that, right? First, there is a, what they call, first we call this as a pure soul. Can you see? Oh, can't be seen, huh? Okay, this is the pure soul, right? And this pure soul is kept inside this, was infused or what they call caged inside this body. You got it?
Yes.
Or just like the parrot kept in the cage. சரியா? So what we say, this is the soul, but you are trapped in this cage called body. Okay, are you following me?
Yes.
So now this is called embodied.
Mm.
Okay, so
Okay.
the best of embodiment yaru? Arjuna, because he's talking to Arjuna.
Mm.
Okay, then second word that we try to understand is like this. Okay, we understand like, okay, the physical nature that is constantly changing. Okay, that is called as Adi Bhuta, or the material manifestation. Okay, the material manifestation. The universal form of the Lord that also includes all the demigods. The universal form, like those of the sun and the moon, is called Adi Daiva. Adi Daiva. Then Krishna says, I, the Supreme Lord, represented as the super soul in the heart of every embodied being. What is embodied? The soul that is encaged in the physical body. But now he says, I am the super soul in the heart of every embodied being. And what I, as Krishna, is called Adi Yagna, or the Lord of Sacrifice. Okay, this one example. So now what you do, now you always study, first you read this way. Now you read backward. You read it backward. That means what? Adi Yagna, or the Lord of Sacrifice. Who is he? He is living in the heart. He's living in the heart as a what? As the super soul. Okay? He lives in every heart as a super soul, Adi Yagna. Alright? So now, Adi Daiva means what? Adi Daiva means it is just like the sun and moon, who includes all the devas, alright? Who stays in the universal form of the Lord. So the universal form of the Lord, you see all the devas are there.
Yeah.
But this super soul is in every living entity. Different. You got it?
Mm-hmm.
Now, after that he says the material manifestation is called Adi Bhuta. It's constantly changing. All right? And changing, which is called also as physical nature. This one example I'm giving you. So that means what you're doing, you're reading like example, you're reading this way, right? You're reading from this way. After that, you read back way. You reverse it. So then that's one way. After that, what do you do? Okay, when you read in your book, right? Please don't highlight. Highlighting the book is a terrible thing to do. Always underline. So what I usually do, I usually underline. What is that? the physical nature, constantly changing. Material body generally pass through 6 stages. What are the 6 stages? First, they are born, they grow, they remain for some duration, they produce some byproduct, they dwindle, and they vanish or they die. So what I usually do, I read every word, word by word. So that's why we call study.
Mm.
When you take the Bhagavad Gita, you just start to read. Example, like usually what we do, we start read. The physical nature is constantly changing. Material body generally pass through 6 stages. They are born, they are borrowed, they remain, they are subdivision, and they vanish. This is physical nature is called Adi Buddha. The creator is see. So read word by word. So when you can read like that word by word, even I struggle with remembering Sanskrit, but the content you'll remember. You got it, Mataji?
All right. Why must go from after reading, following the from the beginning of that sloka, yeah, I mean the translation, then after that go backwards.
You
I
understand?
don't that one, is it, what difference does it make?
Oh, it
Again,
makes a big because you understand very in detail.
oh, okay.
You're understanding in detail. Say, like for instance, what do you work as, Mataji?
Oh, I'm a homemaker.
A homemaker, all right.
Yes.
Because I trained this one lawyer, a boy. I mean, tell him the same thing. You go, because I thought only in Vedas, but when I was teaching him how to study that what they call the legal papers, when you're studying, I said go right, go left. You'll remember.
Oh, okay.
Right? That means what? Example, the physical nature constantly changing. Material body generally pass through the 6 stages. What the 6 stages of? That means the born, death, and everything. And okay, this physical nature is called Adi Buddha. All right, we go through. Now let's go through back way. Okay, how to go through back way? Okay, example like this. That means, for instance, let me see what color. All right, I take, all right, this color. All right. So now Adi Buddha is what? Is physical nature.
Okay.
What is the physical nature? It first of all, the physical nature is like this. First, it dies. Before it dies, it dwindles. Before it dwindles, it byproduct. That means create children.
Right.
Then after that, before that, it also stays for a duration of time, maybe 60, 70, 80 years in this world. All right. And before, why? How the thing happened? By growth. How the growth is possible? By birth. So what is this? This is called the 6 stages. Of what? Of passing through the body, or 6 stages of material body. And this is constantly changing. So what are they referring to? Physical nature. So you go this way, you go that way, you can remember very clearly. I mean, you can remember the content, I mean.
So must do for the purpose as well, huh?
Definitely.
Okay.
Don't rush to study Bhagavad Gita. Studying Bhagavad Gita is not a marathon. Take your time, relish. Just like, say, if you got a laddu, any part of the laddu you bite is sweet. So don't put into your mouth like that. Take little by little. Enjoy everything. You will never believe. I've been studying Bhagavad Gita. I've been teaching Bhagavad Gita. Every time I go into it, I'm surprised. How come I didn't know this? How come I never heard about this? Like the day my Guru Maharaj was telling, he's been studying Bhagavad Gita, don't know for how many years. And every time he study, he gets some new insight, new understanding.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Right. Thank you, Prabhu.
Thank you, Matan. Nice question. Anyways, quite out of the topic. Anyway, good you have asked the question. Any other questions? All right. All right. Is this topic today is quite heavy, or did I try to present as easy as I can? How is it? Any takeaway, you all? Huh? Alan? Manglish? No. How about you? Too much of information. Overload information. Okay. So last call. No question? All right. So if there's no question, we end the session now. Thank you all for joining us today. And tomorrow is going to be more interesting. What is the topic? Tomorrow's topic? Karma Yoga. Now, how are you going to apply whatever learned in this Divya Gyan, this divine knowledge in karma or in your daily activity, in your karma or your activity? Okay, how are you going to do that? It's going to be tomorrow's topic. It's going to be very interesting. Okay. And yes. And okay, other than that, I also like to hear from you. If you have any takeaway, anything that you learned, you can also share in the group. All right. Till then, have a nice day. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhu bevacha paditanam pavinibhyo vaishnavibhyo namo namah. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Thank you,
you,
Prabhu.
Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Thank you very much, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Take it.